Is this all there is to life? Answers from Ecclesiastes, author Ray C. Stedman, 1999. Sometimes when people become aware of this, flip over to the opposite extreme from pleasure to meaninglessness. They drop out of society. They get out of the rat race. They go on relief and let the government support them. We saw that kind of reaction in California in the 60s. Young people, particularly, were saying, we don't want to be part of the rat race anymore. We don't want to make money or play games to be admired. We'll drop out instead. But that's not the answer either. The researcher says the fool folds his hands and consumes his own flesh. Ecclesiastes 4:5. Many young men and women who were part of the counterculture of decades ago have found out that this is true. That when you sit in idleness, you devour yourself. Your resources disappear. Your self-respect vanishes. They have to learn the painful lesson that the only way to maintain themselves, even physically, let alone psychologically, was to go to work and stop devouring their own flesh. It would be better, says the searcher, to lower your expectations and choose a less ambitious lifestyle. Better one handful with tranquility than two handfuls with toil and chasing after the wind. Ecclesiastes 4:6. Yet so powerful is ambition and the desire to be envied, he says that men actually keep working and toiling even when they have no one to leave their riches to. Again, I saw something meaningless under the sun. There was a man all alone. He had neither son nor brother. There was no end to his toil, and yet his eyes were not content with his wealth. For whom am I toiling, he asked, and why am I depriving myself of enjoyment? This too is meaningless, a miserable business. How true. Some people keep on toiling although they have no one to work for, and nothing to do with the money they make. They even deny themselves the pleasures of life so they can continue to amass funds. We know a couple of octogenarian billionaires that are like that, don't we? Let's see. What a sharp example was given to us in the history of the late billionaire Howard Hughes. He did not know what to do with his money. His heirs, who had been impossibly difficult to identify for certain, were left to squabble over it. Somehow in this tragic existence, the man never seemed to ask himself, why am I doing this? What is life about? Why am I amassing this tremendous amount of money when I don't even spend a dime on myself? Such is the folly of toiling for riches out of ambition and ego. In contrast, the searcher admits that companionship is better than loneliness. Two are better than one because they have a good return for their work. If one falls down, his friend can help him up. But pity the man who falls and has no one to help him up. Also, if two lie down together, they will keep warm. But how can one keep warm alone? Though one may be overpowered, two can defend themselves. A cord of three strands is not quickly broken. Ecclesiastes 4:9-12. Someone may say, is it true that men work out of a sense of ambition and drive for admiration for others, but companionship is useful while doing so? The searcher agrees and lists 4 advantages to this. First, having a partner will increase the reward. 2 really can live cheaper than 1. Many people get married on this basis. During the Depression, there was a popular song that said, potatoes are cheaper, tomatoes are cheaper, now it's time to fall in love. Many young people agreed with that and got married. But the economy has changed. Today, potatoes are dearer and tomatoes are dearer, but still, now it's time to fall in love, because you can combine your resources. Even the IRS recognizes the advantages of this by giving tax breaks to married couple in certain tax brackets. You have to have grown up in Montana to fully... Second, the searcher says a friend will help in times of trouble. If you get into difficulty, your friend or roommate will be there to help you. You have to have grown up in Montana to fully appreciate the third advantage. When the temperature is 40 degrees below zero outside, you understand that the searcher means when he says, if two lie down together, they will keep warm. But how can one keep warm alone? Even at the physical level, companionship is an advantage. Fourth, the presence of another or more than one other in your life makes defeat unlikely. Though one may be overpowered, two can defend themselves. A cord of 3 strands is not quickly broken. Still, while there are advantages in companionship, the searcher's argument nevertheless all adds up to emptiness. It does not satisfy the sense of eternity that God has put in man's heart. Many a couple sit in loneliness, staring at the television screen for hours at a time, or seek other diversions to fill the emptiness and misery of their lives. No companionship, though better than loneliness, is not the answer either. A final objection is raised in the latter part of chapter 4. It says, in effect, that living a long life does not always guarantee that one will learn the secrets of enjoyment. The searcher has been saying that God has a perfect plan and he will teach you as you go. If you live long enough and listen carefully, you will learn that enjoyment is a gift of God. But now someone argues that he knows people who have lived a long time who still do not seem to have learned this. Better a poor but wise youth than an old but foolish king who no longer knows how to take warning. The youth may have come from prison to the kingship, or he have been born in poverty within his kingdom. Age can make you headstrong and fanatical, convinced that everything you want to do is right. Even living a long time does not teach us all the lessons, although a long life usually does teach much. But all of us know people who should know better, people who have forgotten the lessons they learned in their youth. Here's a king who has gone from prison to the throne because he understood life. He had been poor and he was exalted to a position of power. But he forgot all the lessons he had learned. Compared to him, even a callow youth is preferable. The searcher's second argument is that even the wise youth will go on to repeat the same error.